So when I look at 2019, I say the following things. I look at specifics of what's going on in the world, and then I think about history. Let me just make some points. The aftermath of bear markets is huge upside. The aftermath of the average correction in the history of the S&P 500 going back to 1926 is 12 months moving forward that on a price-only return is 34% in 12 months. When you take all the calendar years that have been up 5% to down 5%, that bandwidth of up a little to down a little, the average subsequent calendar year's been up 24% total return. The period that we've been through normally would lead you to strength. But of course, that's just historical, and this time could be different. When I look at the world now, I can say the following things. I can say GDP-weighted global loan growth is very strong at 7%. The broad quantity of money is growing at about 6.5% in a world where real GDP inflation adjusted is growing at about 2%. That means there's a lot of excess stimulus in that money growth. It's not so much coming out of America as coming out of the world. When I look at otherwise fundamental features, the wiggles in the economy as a whole, which frighten some people right now because there's been some downside wiggle, are the same magnitude as we have seen many times before in this long expansion. I have made a big point about the fact, and others have too, which makes me a little bit afraid of it, because whenever others agree with me, I don't like it. But I've made a big point about the fact that this is to be the third year of a president's term. We haven't had a negative third year of an American's president term in the S&P 500 since 1939, which was only down 0.9% as World War II was starting. The third year of a president's term is in American political history a kind of a sweet spot that overlaps a lot with what I've otherwise referred to in my writings as the 91% miracle, which tends to have the quarters following a midterm election tend to move positive even over the 9 months, 91% of the time, even if one of the quarters is negative. I do believe that 2019 will see a strong year, and therefore I'm pretty optimistic, and I think a little bit going back to Franklin Roosevelt's famous saying, as we look right now, right here at 2019 in the middle of December, that the only real thing to fear is the fear that we all have ourselves.